In this video, I'm going to give you a simplistic, step-by-step guide to starting your acting career. If you're interested in becoming an actor or an actress and you have absolutely no experience, you've just thought about it for a while, and you want to start, now's the time to start. And this is the guide that will give you simple explanation on how to do that. The first thing to realize when you start this journey as an actor or actress is to realize that this is an expedition, not a sprint. You're not going to just decide one day, I'm going to become an actor or an actress, and the next day you get an agent, a manager, you get cast in a feature film starring an A-list actor. That's not going to happen. So don't approach it that way. Realize that it's going to take work. It's going to be a struggle. That's what I always tell all new actors or actresses who ask me, how did I get into the business? How do they get into the business? I've been doing this for over 35 years, close to 40 years I've been an actor. Now I'm a character actor and I've been doing it always. And when I started, it was the same principle. It was a slow start, little by little, inch by inch. That's what I want to drill into you at the beginning of this video. This is not a career where you get a resume together, maybe get your headshots together, and then next couple of weeks, you're on the set and you're acting. No, this is a career that's going to take a lot of steps. And that's what we're going to go through in this video. So hang in there with me and I'll walk you through these steps. In the early months of pursuing an acting career, there's going to be few opportunities, but there's a lot for you to do to get prepared. There's a lot that you have to do to be prepared for when an opportunity does arise. So don't worry, you're going to have things to do. You're going to study. You're going to prepare all the materials you need to make it in this business. And that's what we're going to talk about. I want you to understand again, like I said in the earlier part, this is an expedition. It's not a sprint. You're not going to run through this without doing what's necessary to make it in this business, especially if you want to stay in this business. If you want to have a long-term career, if you're serious about making acting a career that can continue to grow and continue to flourish, then you need to follow these steps that I'm about to give you. You need to make a commitment to training. That's one of the top things I tell every actor. You need training. You need a solid background and foundation. You need to understand that this is a skill that can be learned. You may have natural talent. You may have natural ability, but you need to learn the basics and be trained in the basics so that you can build upon that natural skill that you may have. You need to enroll in an acting class. An in-person acting class is the number one choice, in person. Zoom is also a possibility to start when you don't have access to an in-person class. So a Zoom class is a good start. It's a good way to learn the basics. In addition to reading books, I would rate a Zoom class on the same level as reading all the historical and current acting books. That's something that I always recommend at the very beginning also. So you want to read, you want to study, and you want to get into an in-person class. Now, wherever you live, there should be some in-person classes. You need to do your research though. You don't want to get involved in classes that are taught by someone with about as much experience as you have. You want to be taught by someone who's been through it, who's been on auditions, in-person auditions, who's actually booked work, who's actually booked a number of jobs, who's actually trained themselves, who has actually trained themselves at other teachers or college programs or theater programs. You want to work with someone as a coach or an acting teacher that has experience, that has training, that has verifiable skills. And you want to get references. I want to tell all young actors to get references from your teacher and follow up on those references. Don't just take the references and say, oh, okay, yeah, this person said he was good. Contact the people. Now you have the internet, you have email, you have text messages, any kind of way that you can reach out to people who have actually taken the classes, reach out to them. Tell them you'll buy them lunch. Tell them you'll buy them coffee. You want to do your research because your first class and every class is really important. Nowadays, there are a lot of people out there who aren't on the up and up. And I have to be honest about that. You want to be wary of these people who say they're acting teachers and coaches and don't have any experience. There's so many of them. But if you do what you're supposed to do and you research these people and you talk to past students, then you can find out if this person is worth your time and money. So don't skip that step. Do not skip that step. Find legitimate programs if you're in a city area that may have it. If you're close to a city area that has legitimate programs, you want to start there. You want to start with the highest level of beginning acting class that you can get into. So again, you're going to take classes. You're going to read every book about acting that you can get your hands on. Do a quick Google search and find out what are the top books in the past 20 years written on or written for beginning actors. Go to Amazon.com, buy them used. You don't need to pay full fare for old books. You can get them for very cheap on Amazon.com, or even there are other book resellers online. But search the books, start reading, educate yourself. But you're going to have to do in-person classes. Again, I stress that. In-person classes where you work with other students and you interact with other students and you can watch other students perform and see the comments that they get, and you can get up and perform yourself with these students and get comments and feedback from the instructor. So make sure you get to an in-person class, even if it's at a community college, even if it's at a learning annex type of situation or adult learning school. Find out where you can go in person, get references, research the class and the instructor to see that they have some type of experience where they can benefit you as a new actor or actress. But do your research. And again, like I said, Zoom classes are good, but to me, they're on the level of reading. You can take some Zoom classes and try them out and see if you get any knowledge from them or if it helps you. But again, nothing beats an in-person workshop, classes, scene study, or beginning actors class that you can do in person and work with other students. Build yourself a calling card. Get on platforms like Actors Access, Backstage, casting networks, and build your acting portfolio. Start presenting yourself in the position of an actor. Build your portfolio, resume, headshot, past work. Start building that portfolio early. You may not have a lot to put on there right away, but start it. Start working on it so that as you get content that establishes your training, your experience, your photos, you'll have some place to put it. And you'll start legitimately building your background and your history, because you're going to need to prove to potential agents, managers, casting people that you're taking this seriously and you're actively building your resume and your presence and your portfolio. So work on that right away. That's another thing that you can do right away, and you don't have to go to any class to do that. You don't have to have any kind of instruction to do that. All the instructions are right there on the site. Build your portfolio. Go to the free ones. Start with a free one, I recommend. Start with a free portfolio and build that, even if they're limited. Find out again, do a quick Google search. What are the most popular casting sites in your area, wherever you are? And start with a few of those. Build your presence so that you can get used to putting your content and representing yourself into the community of actors and actresses and be accepted and acknowledged and recognized just as you're starting. Next, you want to get a professional headshot. A professional headshot. Not just a general family or snapshot photographer, not your cousin Vinny with his new iPhone taking your headshots. You want to find a local photographer in your area who takes professional acting headshots for actors and actresses. They have to have an online presence so that you can see their samples. You want to go look through their samples. You want to find photos of people that have a similar look, skin complexion, hair tone, whatever, a similar look that you have, and see how their photos look. See that they look professional. Also, do research. If you're unfamiliar with what a professional headshot is supposed to look like, do a Google search. Actors, professional headshots. Actresses, professional headshots. look them up, see what they're supposed to look like, see how the lighting looks, see how the posing looks, see how the image overall looks, so that you're familiar with what professional photos are supposed to look like. That's the only way you're going to be able to effectively judge a photographer in your area that you may want to hire. So again, don't go to just the mall photo booth or the mall glamour shop. You don't want those. You need a photographer, a professional photographer who specializes in headshots for actors and actresses. Make sure they have a portfolio, make sure they have samples, make sure their pricing is clearly listed. And if you want to, reach out to them by email. Also, if they're available for a quick phone call, sometimes they are, to give you a consultation, make that phone call and talk to them and see if there's some connection between you and them. I know sometimes that may be difficult nowadays, but give it a try. If they're a local person and you live in a smaller city or town, you may be able to actually see them or meet them in person, see their facility where they take the photos, and get a good feel for them to see if you have that connection and to see how they work. But you need to do your research first so that you know what professional headshots, acting headshots for men and women, what they look like. They're not snapshots that you can take with your regular cell phone. You need professional shots to get started. Now, if you're brand new, this is something that you're going to need to do also. You need to create a demo reel showcasing your acting ability. Even if you're new, you want to rehearse a scene, make sure you're word perfect, and practice the scene, rehearse the scene with other actors, and then you want to shoot that scene. Now, that's something you can do on your own. Unless also, you can also use, if you were in a student film, if you were in a high school film or video, any type of work that shows you, that was videotaped, that you can get access to, that shows your ability. Now, make sure it's good. Make sure your ability is good. Don't just give them any tape. And if you don't have anything, then you can work with someone there. And there are professional services that will shoot your demo reel. But I recommend now, with today's technology, getting a friend with an iPhone or a high quality Android phone and shooting a demo scene. A few demo scenes, small ones. Get a group of actors together and shoot simple scenes, but make sure they're rehearsed. Make sure you are completely off book. You know your dialogue, you know the lines, you know the scene, and you rehearse with the other actors and actresses so that it looks as professional as possible. You have good, clean sound. If you can get someone to boom the sound with a boom microphone, better. If you can get someone to edit it professionally, great. If you can edit yourself, even better. But you're going to need to put together, even if you're just starting out, some type of demo reel that you can send when it's time to send a sample of you acting on camera. All agents, managers, casting directors, they're going to want to see that. Even if it's elementary, even if it's basic, you can always replace it later with more professional work. But you're going to need something well produced that is clearly able to be seen. The video is clear, the video is sharp, and the audio is just as important as the video. You can't have hollow sound. You can't be in an echoey room so they can't understand what you're saying. And you need to be tight shots, medium shots and close up. You don't need to do any kind of action, running, dancing, fighting. None of that stuff is necessary. What they want to see is you having a conversation with another actor or actress and being believable in the scene. So it can be a short film shot by someone who has the ability to do it. Maybe you can produce it yourself if you have an iPhone or high quality Android phone that shoots good video. Get a tripod. It has to be on a tripod, no handheld stuff. You have to have good lighting. If you don't have access to lighting, you can shoot outside in a shady area, not in the bright sun because you'll be squinting your eyes like this. You need to do some test shoots also, just to see if the image and sound look good and the person can really deliver what will be acceptable for a beginning demo reel. So do a few tests, find some people to help you, recruit some friends, and put together short demo scenes. Keep them short, 2 minutes each. Maybe do a comedy, a drama, and something that's in between. So you need to have, again, short scenes for a demo reel. If you don't have anything, if you haven't done anything in the past, you can shoot it yourself. We have the technology, as they used to say in the old Bionic Man. We have the technology now. You can shoot your own high quality demo reel that will get you through the door with a manager, or an agent. And when you get more professional stuff, you just get rid of the old stuff. So again, start learning how to put together a simplistic demo reel. Now, what I'm going to do later, I'm going to create more detailed topics on each one of these. It'll be its own video so that you will be able to find out the details of how to do this yourself. So I'm going to put that together, and you'll come back to my website and you'll see those. More details on each subject. Right now, I'm just doing an overarching coverage of how to get started in the acting business. You need to make an acting resume. Now, I know you're probably saying I don't have any experience, but you maybe have participated in some kind of skits or Christmas play or showcase, a public reading. Think about all the things that you may have done in the past that may be able to represent you explaining your talent as an actor or an actress. Maybe you did some public speaking. Maybe you gave a speech somewhere. Think and see how you can word those past experiences into something that can represent as a professional formatted acting resume. And you can find out again online, what does a basic brand new actor's resume look like? And you're going to find a bunch of examples. Do a Google search. Put together a basic professional resume, even if you only have a few little things. The most important is that you have your contact information, your phone number, your email, so that people who may be interested can get in contact with you. But look at online at some basic beginners resumes and see what they look like. And look what types of content they have on there. So there's some way creatively that you can build a resume out of some things you've done in your past. You have to have done some type of public speaking or group speaking or speaking in class, maybe giving an oral report. So list it as what it is and put together a simple beginner's resume. And also you can list on there about the training you're currently doing, what books you're reading on acting, what online classes you're taking, what in-person classes you're taking, what public speaking classes you may have taken in high school, grammar school, college. So you need to do the research and put together a resume, even if it's very sparse, even if it's just a skeleton of a resume. And you can even talk about, maybe you can have a section on there about your background, very short, about why you're interested in becoming an actor or an actress. So there are creative ways to build a resume. And again, you can find all that information online, doing a quick Google search. How can I build an acting resume with no experience? Again, I'm going to do more in-depth videos on these topics, but for now, don't sit around and wait for my content. There's content out there already where you can figure out how to build a resume, even if you don't have an acting resume, even if you don't have that much experience. So get to it. Get on set experience at any level, any level. That's why I said, once you decide to put together a demo reel, you may want to, among your friends, organize some short film shoots. And they can be really short, 2 minutes, 3 minutes tops. You want to shoot a bunch of those. That will be your initial acting experience. And that will also be your demo reel. So organize that. In today's modern technology, you can get cheap tripods that can hold your cell phone so that you can shoot professional looking shots. Do not do handheld shots. No matter how much the person behind the camera says, oh, I just want to handhold it. Get professional tripod stable shots for each shot. Handheld shots look unprofessional. They look amateurish, especially if you're doing an amateur production. You want to lift your level, your viewership level, so your quality level. And the instant way to do that is to shoot on a tripod. Have stable shots, because the actor and coach or the acting talent manager or agent, they want to see stable shots. They're interested in seeing your performance only. They're not interested in seeing the camera move all around or kind of fancy shots like that. No gimbals. You don't need a gimbal. None of that stuff. Gimbals are irritating, especially to casting people. I've cast many projects myself. I'm a director also, and I've cast many projects. Gimbals where the shot's moving all around the person, irritating. No one wants to see that when they're trying to decide whether you have talent or not. What they want to see, you see how this shot is stable of me right now? That's what they want to see. A stable shot of you talking to someone off camera. You can even do monologues. You can have two people talking back and forth, or you can even have just a monologue of you looking off camera like this and answering someone's questions. So put together your own samples. Get camera experience any way you can, on camera experience any way you can. So once you have all those elements, you have a professional headshot, you have acting demo reel, even if it's something that you made or a friend made, you have that together. You have a resume, even if it's a very skeleton style resume. You have your headshot, you have your resume, and you have your acting demo reel together. Start to pursue representation in your local area. So if you're in an area that may have a few talent representatives, do the research on them again, just like you did the acting teachers. Do the research, find out if you know or can find out anyone that has worked with them. Look on the Better Business Bureau, look on, do a Google search with their name, their company, to see if there's any problems with them. Try to meet with them on the phone or in person or on Zoom, and send out your headshot, your resume, and your digital link to your digital sample. Maybe you'll put your video on YouTube with the link, hyperlink that goes right to the video, and you will email that out to some potential representatives. Now, they could be in neighboring cities, but do the research. I want you to avoid scams, because there's a lot of scams out there. There's a lot of people who say they, for a certain amount of fee, they'll represent you. No, never pay up front. Never, never, listen to me, never pay for anyone to represent you to send you out on acting work. Never pay for acting leads or leads to be an extra. There are too many scams out there, so you have to be careful. A talent representative who's legitimate only makes money when you make money. They take usually like 10 or 15% of the money you make as an actor or actress. Do not pay up front. Do not pay them to have headshots taken. You will do all that on your own. If they say, go to this photographer, it's a scam. If they say my uncle can take the pictures for you, or they can take the pictures for you, it's a scam. So you have to be careful. There's a lot of ways out there for people to try to separate you from your money. Also, if any of you are parents and you're trying to get your kids into this business, I'm going to make another video focusing on children. But for right now, the same applies. These are the same steps that you will do for a child, but do not pay in advance. Do not take their classes. Do not take their photos. Do not take their wardrobe advice or any advice as far as being paid. You do not pay in advance to any talent representative. Please, please remember that. Those scams need to end, and people have to stop being susceptible to them, have to stop falling for them. Don't pay in advance. Never, never, never. Keep training. You're always going to need training. That's one thing that I tell actors all the time. Even after you've taken classes, even after you've booked some jobs and you had some limited success, keep training. Even the pros still have coaches. Even the pros still have trainers. Even the pros have one-on-one with people they've worked with in the past. So you, as a young or new actor, as far as young, I mean just starting, you're going to need to continue training. You're going to need to continue to have a coach. Someone who's legitimate, someone who you've researched and you found out that they are on the up and up. They're not just trying to separate you from your money. They have information and skills and talent that someone else can verify, that someone else has went to and had success with them. You need to track these people down. You need to send out emails. You need to find out if they are real. Don't fall for the scams. Do not fall for a teacher who has no experience, never booked a job, never went on an audition, never booked a union role. You need to research these people and make sure they're legitimate, they have a track record, they have a history, they have skills that they can impart to you. So do your research. Don't be fooled. Also, another thing you need to do is continue to have other hobbies, continue to do other activities, continue to maintain your mental health. Don't become all consumed with pursuing your career that you shut everyone else and everything else off in your life. You can still hang out with your friends. You can still go to gym and exercise. You can still run, hike, swim, do all the activities that you normally do, but still be dedicated to pursuing your career. But still set aside some time to have a life. Don't let it take over you and completely control you. Some people do that, and it makes them miserable because all they think about is how can they propel themselves to their success where they want to be. You need to be a well-rounded person. You need to have a life outside of this career. So even as you start having some success, continue to do the things that you enjoy, that relax you, bring you relaxation, being with your friends and family. Don't let it consume you. And finally, join a community. There are many ways, Facebook communities, there are so many communities online that you can join that are involved with new actors. Watch YouTube videos. Find out if there are communities associated with those videos. Find out if there are people who get together as groups. There's a number of sites where people meet up. Not one-on-one. There are a number of sites where people meet in groups to network. Find out if there's a local group in your area. Join the group. You may find some people there who can share information. If you can share information, that's great. Become involved in the acting community where you are. It can be online, it can be in person. I recommend in person, but you can start online. And you can also be involved in both, online and in person. But build a community. Maybe start one on your own. Start a Facebook group. Build that community. Network with like-minded people pursuing the same goals that you're pursuing, and enjoy the ride. And again, remember, it's not a sprint. It's going to be a long haul. It's going to be a cross country. It's going to be a marathon. This business does not happen overnight. It does not. You've heard of people who they say had overnight success. Even those overnight successes have been working somehow before they got started, before they broke through to where they're recognizable. Continue to study. Learn everything you can. Read books. There's so many acting books where if you just get one or two things out of that book, and they're small. I'm not talking about thick novels. Acting books are always small. They're paperback mostly, small books, easy to read, double spacing, but read. I know a lot of people don't read nowadays. They get everything online, but you be the exception, because I'm telling you, reading and learning about the experiences, how to get in this business, how to start in this business is the way to go. Because the more knowledge you have, the less you'll be susceptible to scams and people trying to separate you from your money or giving you faulty information. And again, come to my channel. I'm going to make more videos on this topic. I've been getting a lot of information, a lot of questions from new beginning actors who want to get into the field but don't have any detailed information. And that's where I'm going to start specializing for a while, giving you more concrete information for bare bones beginners. Because I was once a bare bone beginner. And I remember the time I didn't even know what a side was. And just so you know, my final tip, sides are parts of the script that you read when you're asked to audition. That's what they call it. They call it sides. And it's just a part of the script. So continue to check out my channel, and I'll see you in the next one.